The sun shone brightly over the peaceful little town of Sundarpur. Birds chirped from the rooftops, children played in the streets, and shopkeepers opened their stores with cheerful greetings. But amidst all the daytime routines, there was one sound that excited the children more than anything else, the ting-ting of a tiny brass bell. Ding, ding, ding. That bell belonged to none other than Raman, the town's most beloved ice cream seller. Every afternoon, he pushed his colorful ice cream cart through the main street, smiling widely beneath his thick mustache. His cart was a joyful sight, painted in red and blue, covered with pictures of ice cream cones, chocolate bars, and fruit popsicles. Inside, the cold containers held creamy vanilla, rich chocolate, tangy mango, and strawberry swirls that looked like pink clouds. The moment children heard the bell, they would drop everything and run. "Raman Bhaiya is here," shouted a little boy, abandoning his toy car. "Wait for me," cried a girl, still holding her school bag. In just seconds, a crowd of excited kids surrounded his cart like bees around honey. Raman greeted them warmly. "One chocolate cone for Ria," he called out cheerfully, handing over a perfectly rounded double scoop topped with a sprinkle of cocoa. "And a mango bar for Arav," he added, giving it with a wink. Parents trusted Raman because he never hesitated to give a little extra. If a child didn't have enough money, he would still offer a small scoop and say, "Happiness is more important than coins." The children loved him not just for his ice cream, but for his kindness. Some even called him the ice cream uncle of the heart. His earnings were more than enough. His cart was always empty by evening, and his pockets were full with jingling coins and folded notes. He lived a simple life, ate modest food, wore plain clothes, and slept peacefully. But with time, things began to change. One evening, after counting his earnings, Raman stared at the pile of money and thought, "I work so hard every day, but what if I could earn even more without extra effort?" It was a small thought, harmless at first. But greed is like a seed. Once planted, it starts growing silently. The next morning, Raman filled his ice cream containers as usual, but this time, a different plan was brewing in his mind. "What if I reduce the amount just a little?" he wondered. "The children won't notice. Instead of 2 scoops, I'll give 1.5. Instead of thick cream, I'll add a little water. I'll earn more while they remain happy. Smart idea, isn't it?" A smile spread across his face, not the kind smile the children were used to, but one filled with slyness. And just like that, the honest ice cream man everyone loved was slowly becoming the greedy ice cream seller. The next morning, Raman pushed his ice cream cart onto the street as usual. The sun was warm, the air smelled of fresh flowers, and his brass bell jingled happily. Children once again came running at the sound, shouting with joy, "Raman Bhaiya is here." But today, something was different. Raman's heart was no longer filled with the same kindness as before. His mind was busy with calculations. He whispered to himself, 2 scoops in 1 cone, such a waste. If I give just 1 small scoop, I can save so much. And if I add water to the cream, I can make double the ice cream with the same milk. Twice the ice cream means twice the profit. The thought made him smile slyly. His eyes sparkled with greed, not love. As the first child came forward with a coin, Raman scooped a smaller portion of vanilla than usual. He pressed it into the cone and handed it quickly, before anyone noticed. "Here you go, little one," he said cheerfully, masking his trickery with his usual charm. The boy took it happily, but frowned a little after the first bite. "It feels smaller than yesterday," he muttered. But Raman rang his bell loudly to distract him, and the boy walked away. Another girl ordered chocolate. Raman dipped his scooper into the container, which he had secretly diluted with water the night before. The scoop looked shiny but thinner, melting too quickly. The girl licked it once and whispered to her friend, "It tastes different today," but children, being children, ate it anyway. Raman chuckled inside. "See, they don't really care. All they want is something cold and sweet. And well, I am clever enough to earn double." That day, Raman earned more money than usual. He counted the coins again and again, his face glowing with pride. But greed is a dangerous fire, it never stays satisfied. The next morning, he reduced the scoops even more. Instead of 1.5, he gave only 1. He pressed the ice cream so deep inside the cone that it looked full from above but was hollow inside. The children still bought it, but they began to murmur. Why is my cone so empty? Mine melted too fast. Yesterday's was better. But Raman ignored them. He laughed in his heart. Let them complain a little. As long as they pay me, I am the winner. He began dreaming big. Soon, I will save enough money to buy a second cart, and maybe even hire someone to sell for me. Then I'll be the richest man in the town. But what Raman failed to realize was this: trust, once broken, never comes back easily. The children who once adored him started losing their excitement. Parents began to notice the poor quality. His reputation, built with honesty over the years, was slowly slipping through his fingers. And yet, blinded by greed, Raman could not see the storm that was quietly approaching. The days passed, and Raman continued with his greedy tricks. Every morning, he would water down the creamy mixture and reduce the scoops, thinking no one would dare stop buying from him. His coin box grew heavier, and he felt proud of his cleverness. But the truth cannot be hidden for long. One afternoon, as he rang his bell in the busy marketplace, only a few children came running. The rest stayed back, playing quietly in the street. Raman frowned. Strange. Usually the crowd is much bigger. He smiled anyway and handed a cone to Arav, one of his loyal little customers. But as soon as Arav licked it, his face twisted with disappointment. Raman Bhaiya, this doesn't taste right. It's watery. Raman pretended not to hear. Oh no, child. Maybe your tongue is tired from playing in the sun. Eat, it's the same as always. But Arav wasn't convinced. He shook his head and gave the half-eaten cone back. I don't want it anymore. He walked away, leaving Raman stunned. A few steps away, another girl, Mira, took her cone of strawberry. She bit into it and said loudly, "Why is it so small? Yesterday you gave me more for the same money." The other children began to murmur. Yes, mine is also smaller. And mine is melting too quickly. It's not fair. He's cheating us. The sweet excitement that once surrounded Raman's cart turned into frowns and whispers. The children, who used to laugh and clap for him, were now suspicious. Parents soon began to hear complaints from their kids. That evening, one mother came to the cart. She spoke firmly. Raman, my daughter says your ice cream isn't the same anymore. Is it true you've started giving less? Raman, sweating nervously, forced a laugh. No, madam. Children exaggerate. I give the same scoops as always. But the mother inspected the cone closely. This is half filled. And the taste? It's watered down. You are cheating us. Her voice rose, and other parents gathered around. Some shook their heads in disappointment, others pulled their children away. We trusted you, Raman. Shame on you, one father said. For the first time in years, Raman's cart stood lonely. The crowd vanished. The streets that once echoed with children's cheers fell silent around him. Raman tried to call out. Wait, I'll give you bigger scoops tomorrow. Don't go. But no one listened. That night, Raman sat on his bed, staring at the pile of coins. Strangely, they no longer gave him joy. He remembered the children's angry faces, their little voices saying, "He's cheating us." For the first time, Raman felt a sting of regret. But his pride was stronger than his guilt. He muttered to himself, "They'll come back tomorrow. Who else will sell them ice cream? I'm the only one in town." What Raman didn't know was that the children had already begun dreaming of someone new, someone honest, who might one day take his place. And that day was coming sooner than he could imagine. The next day, Raman rolled his cart onto the street as usual, still hoping that the children would forget everything and come running back. He rang his bell louder than ever. Ding, ding, ding. But unlike before, no excited footsteps came running. No laughter. No cheerful voices. The street remained silent. Raman forced a smile and waited. Maybe they're just busy. They'll come any moment, he thought. But time passed, and not a single customer approached. Just then, something unexpected happened. From the other end of the street came a different bell sound. Ting. 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 Softer and sweeter. Raman looked up sharply. A brand new ice cream cart was rolling into the street. It was bright yellow with colorful balloons tied to the handles. A cheerful board on top read, "Kunal's Cool Treats. Honest Scoop, Happy Heart." The man pushing it was young, smiling, and full of energy. He greeted everyone with warmth. Good afternoon, kids. I'm Kunal. Would you like to try a free scoop of chocolate delight? The moment the children heard, free, they turned their heads. Curiosity sparkled in their eyes. Slowly, they gathered around Kunal's cart. Kunal opened a large silver container and scooped out big, round, creamy swirls of ice cream. He filled each cone generously, even adding chocolate chips and colorful sprinkles on top, for no extra charge. Wow! Exclaimed Arav, licking a scoop so big it nearly toppled over. This tastes amazing, shouted Mira, her smile wide with joy. His scoops are twice as big as Raman's, whispered another child. Even parents approached and tasted. They were impressed. One mother asked, "How much do you charge, Kunal?" Kunal smiled and replied, "Fair price, madam. But more than ice cream, I sell happiness. If the kids leave smiling, I feel rich." The crowd burst into applause. Meanwhile, Raman stood frozen beside his cart, watching in disbelief. His heart sank as he saw his loyal customers, his children, laughing around someone else's cart. How dare he steal my customers? Raman fumed inside. His anger boiled, but what hurt more was the guilt silently creeping in. He heard one child say loudly, "Kunal Bhaiya gives full scoops." Not like Raman uncle. Others giggled and agreed. Raman clenched his fists. His pride shattered. For years, he had been the only ice cream seller in town. He never imagined anyone could replace him. Out of desperation, he tried to call out, "Kids, come here, I'll give you extra scoops too." But no one listened. His bell sounded loud, yet lonely. That evening, as Kunal's cart emptied joyfully, Raman's cart remained full. He sat on the side of the street, his head hanging low. For the first time, he realized, the children didn't leave because of Kunal. They left because he broke their trust. And now, someone better had taken his place. The once bustling streets that echoed with laughter around Raman's cart were now silent. He sat on the edge of his cart, staring at the full containers of ice cream no one wanted. The colorful cones looked bright, but his heart was heavy with shame. The sound of children's giggles floated across the road, not from him, but from Kunal's cart. For days, Raman watched helplessly as parents and children lined up happily for Kunal's honest scoops. The young man worked cheerfully, handing out ice cream with a warm smile and always saying, "Happiness first, money second." His cart was always empty by evening, while Raman's remained untouched. Finally, one evening, unable to bear it anymore, Raman walked over to Kunal. His voice was shaky with frustration. "Kunal," he said bitterly, "tell me, how do you make profit when you give so much for free? Don't you lose money?" Kunal looked at him kindly. "Profit isn't only measured in coins, Raman Bhaiya. When you give honestly, you don't just sell ice cream, you earn people's trust. And trust brings customers again and again." Raman stood silently, his eyes downcast. Kunal continued, "You tried to earn by cheating. Maybe you filled your pockets, but you emptied people's hearts. I give them joy, and that's why they come back." Those words pierced Raman's heart like arrows. He suddenly remembered the little faces that once looked at him with excitement, the parents who trusted him, and the joy he used to feel when children laughed around his cart. Where had that gone? He realized he had lost not just customers, but love, respect, and peace of mind. That night, Raman couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, haunted by the voices of children saying, "Raman uncle cheated us." He looked at the pile of coins on his table. Strangely, the money felt heavier than ever, like a burden of guilt. The next morning, Raman made a decision. He woke up early, went to the market, and bought the freshest milk, cream, fruits, and chocolates. He prepared the ice cream with care, just like he used to in the old days, thick, creamy, and delicious. No water, no tricks, only honesty. When he rolled his cart onto the street, the children hesitated at first. They looked at him suspiciously. Raman took a deep breath and called out, "Children, please come. Today, I have something to say." The kids gathered cautiously, and parents stood nearby, arms folded. Raman bowed his head. "I was greedy," he confessed. "I cheated you. I gave you less, when you trusted me for more. I'm truly sorry. From today, every scoop will be full, every flavor will be real. You don't have to pay if you don't like it. Just give me one more chance." The children exchanged glances. Slowly, little Arav stepped forward and asked, "Really, ramen bhaiya?" "Full scoops." Raman smiled gently. "Yes, child. Bigger than before." He handed Arav a cone stacked high with 2 generous scoops of chocolate. Arav took a bite, his eyes lit up, and he shouted, "It's delicious." The children cheered and crowded around once more. Parents softened too, seeing Raman's sincerity. That day, laughter returned to Raman's cart. He had lost his way for a while, but now he had learned the greatest lesson. Greed fills pockets for a moment, but honesty fills hearts forever.